Hello, young starseeds and old starseeds, and all starseeds alike, and star beings and earthlings and Syrians and all of you. Welcome. You're all welcome. I love you all. This is part two of the truth about starseeds and how you might be an Arcturian. Well, as I said in part one, the truth about starseeds it is that we are all starseeds essentially, technically, because we're all star beings. We were all born under a star at the exact moment it passed over us. That's just what I feel. That's what I believe. That's just my speculation. Astrology might even confirm this. I want to learn more about astrology. I know a little bit. I don't know very much, but I do know what I feel in my heart. So I always speak from the heart, and I try to just get directly to the point because I'm the archer. I'm the Sagittarius, double Sagittarius, always trying to hit his target. Sometimes impatient, a lot of times impatient, but still, the Arcturian in me allows me to be calm and cool, and it balances me out. And I'm wearing blue today, so I can just blend in with my aura. And yeah, I should buy more blue and more yellow, and actually all these colors, the more though if you wear certain colors, it actually boosts your mood depending on what you're wearing. Yellow especially is good for your will. So, and you're just like your self-esteem basically. So, wearing a lot of yellow is going to make you feel good. I like wearing purple because only royalty were allowed to wear purple back in the old days. If anybody had something that was purple, they were royalty. If you're an old starseed, you might actually feel like royalty. You might feel like you were once a king or some kind of leader or in some kind of high position, and people I wouldn't say worship, but they honored you. They treated you with the utmost respect because you got that position for a good reason. You proved yourself. It wasn't anything bad. Maybe in some perspective, but what you did in another lifetime granted you respect from a lot of people, and these these people did everything in their power to make you comfortable and happy for everything you did for them. So yeah, they treated you like royalty. So if you feel like that was you, you're probably an old starseed for sure. And there's so many different kinds, infinite amounts. So what else? Let's talk about Arcturians. Most people will underestimate you if you're an Arcturian because they see this gentle person, and a lot of the times you may even get walked over, and people just treat you badly because they think they can. They think they can do that. They think you're a pushover just because you're gentle and kind. But they soon realize once you get your power back, they soon realize that they cannot push you around because Arcturians have a very strong spirit. And if you push them enough, eventually they will push back and they will create a safe space for their aura. Personally, I do not like when people get too close to my aura without my permission, or especially like a stranger just walks up to me in the line at the grocery store and they're just like breathing down my neck basically. I almost want to be like, "Hey, can you please just back up out of my aura?" Honestly, right there behind me is not a good place to be, especially if I had some nachos that day. Nah, you do not want to be standing behind me. Just saying. But anyways, Arcturians are the healers. They usually realize that they have a great soul purpose at a young age. And because of that reason, they always struggle throughout their entire lives to find that soul purpose, exactly what they need to do. And it usually ends up being some kind of healer, but they're also writers and musicians and artists, and they can be so many different kind of people. Um, Usually they're very interested in human behavior, or just they're very curious. They want to know everything. They want to know more about everything. And they're also the guardians of the galaxy, like straight up. They are warriors. Like, as much as they are gentle, they have that spectrum. So if somebody's like on this side of the spectrum of like they're calm and gentle, or somebody's aggressive and has a strong spirit, it comes together here at a neutral point. But Arcturians are like way out here. They are in such a huge spectrum. Like, they can go from 0 to 1 billion, like that, if you really push them. Depends on what, though. Because Arcturians are very righteous. They will not. They're actually very passive. Not. Sorry, that's the wrong word. They're passive, very pacifist. So they don't really like to fight, but they will fight for the right reasons because they are very righteous. They are very pure, divine souls, and they fight for everything that is they feel is right, and they always try to do the right thing. And so if somebody's being bullied or picked on in front of them, you better believe the Arcturian's not going to just stand by and do nothing. They will stand up and defend other people. They will defend the earth. They will do as much as they can to protect Gaia, Mother Earth, and that's their main purpose, is to raise the vibration of the planet and take it into ascension, and help it ascend. And we're all going to ascend together, but the Arcturians have been helping so much. And that's why Edgar Casey was talking about them a lot, is because they're one of the species that is really trying to help Earth ascend. I wouldn't say more than anybody else, but because there are a lot of other people too, but they've just been in the game so long. Like, they're basically they live in 5D. They're angel. They live in an angelic realm. So they've already transcended so many different levels of evolution, and just levels of awareness. I want to bring that into my body still. I haven't fully taken I haven't fully taken on my Arcturian power yet, but I am starting to integrate my higher self. I've already, like 3 4 years ago, after 3 4 years ago, about 2 years after my spiritual awakening, I integrated shadow, and that took a long time for me to even realize what my shadow was, and realizing that I didn't have to fight it. It was part of me. It was something that I needed to send love to instead, because the fight was pointless. You can't fight yourself. It's always going to be a draw, and it's going to be pointless. It's pointless, and it's going to end in just strife and struggle all the time. So stop fighting yourself and merge with those dark parts of yourself that you want to run away from. Stop running away from them and accept that they are part of who you are as a human being in this duality where everything's so polarized. And Arcturians are very polarized and very balanced. So one example is they can be very childish, but in a fun way and a silly way. And you probably noticed that about me. I just love to make people laugh, and that's one thing about them. But they're also very mature when they need to be and very serious. I remember growing up, people would always say that I'm super serious, and I guess I was just very quiet, very reserved. I've always been very reserved and just perceptive and just taking in my surroundings. And I watched people study their behavior, and because I never wanted to rush into anything because I didn't have as much guidance as I wish I would have had as a child. Um, my brothers and sisters were always with their friends. My mom was always working really hard to raise us four kids. I didn't have my father, so I didn't really have a whole lot of people to ask help from or guidance from. I had to figure a lot of things out for myself, and so I guess my way of doing that was just sitting back and just kind of taking everything in and, until I realized what it is I want to do. But that I think that's mostly because Arcturians are very strategical, and whenever I acted out of rash or just heat of the moment, most of the time it would not end well. Like I would get rejected by a girl or something, and I'm realizing now that I don't even want to approach women. I want them to make it clear to me that it's okay to approach them, or at least we approach each other or something like that. Um, should not have to put any effort into that. It should be obvious if somebody likes you. It should be 100% obvious, especially if you're like getting married too. There should never be a single doubt in your mind about anything when you're in a relationship. And if there is, you really need to question that and check that. But yeah, we're Arcturians. We're the alchemists, the healers. We will help transmute darkness into light. I've already integrated shadow. That's basically what it is. You can take that anger. I used to have so much anger, and I didn't know what to do with it. So I held it in, and it ripped me to shreds. It tore me apart until I wanted to kill myself. So many times, most of my life, I just wanted the pain to end because I would just stuff it all down and it would suffocate me. And you can't do that with emotions because when you do that, the emotions come back 10 times stronger, and it can lead to anger, will lead to resentment, and then resentment leads to hate, and then hate leads to so many bad things, to the dark side. And fear, and like, oh yeah, it was bad. I'm so grateful to come out of that and to learn everything that I did. But you really, being spiritual, you really have to go to hell to realize that there is no hell, that we're already living in it. But we have to change our perspective of that, of everything, and try to see it in a different light. It's not so bad, it's not so grim. Like, this is heaven and this is hell. We get to decide what it is. So, integrating shadow, integrating your ego as well, because ego is not necessarily bad. You need your ego, this avatar that you are right now. It's going to be, it's a being. It's just as real as any other part of yourself. So you need to integrate this part of yourself as well. Everything that you've been through in this life was not for no reason. Like, you don't need to change yourself completely. you can still be you, or this avatar that you're creating and maybe even still working on. You can do whatever you want. Just the main thing is loving all parts of yourself. You need to send love to every single part of yourself. Integrate your inner child. So it is good to be childish. They used to think I was so serious, but in truth, the person I really wanted to be never got to come out as a child. I always, even as a child, I had to hold my inner child in because everybody wanted me to grow up. I was even introduced to sex super early, 9 years old, and I kind of wish that never would have happened. Like, but it taught me a lot of things, and that's why I want to start making podcasts about sex talks, and I might even do that later tonight and finally start that. And that's where I'm going to start off is talking about like how I got introduced to sex at such an early age and how it really affected me. And it will affect anyone. It doesn't matter if you're male or female. Like, we should not be introduced to sex when we're 9 years old. Maybe 12, 13, just to be a little bit aware about it. But like to actually have oral sex when you're like 9 years old, yeah, that really fucks with you. You think it's this awesome thing and you want to brag about it to all the guys, right? And but in truth, like it just broke my innocence, like it took my childhood away. But so many things took my childhood away cuz I was bullied at the same time. Like I was being bullied by the neighborhood kids and had rocks and mud thrown at me, and that was just a really bad, like traumatizing. So many dogs died. Like I had to see so much death. But I'm still here. I'm still smiling, so that just shows me. I don't know. It just shows everything. So Arcturians were basically like the sleeper agents. Once you wake them up, however, then they are like, all right, let's fuck some shit up. Let's go. They are ready. Like they are like these super trained agents because they have their old souls. They've had all this experience. Like they've literally been to war hundreds of times, thousands of times maybe. I've no like I've been in war so many times, and I was a great warrior. I was probably, I think one of my lives was a gladiator, like straight up in the Coliseum, like, and that was not fun, never fun. But yeah, I had to fuck some shit up because like you have to survive, and of course back then we were all like humanity was still in a lower consciousness, and we weren't very aware of spiritual things as much. Only if you were very witchy or you had like witch in your bloodline, then you're gonna inherit that DNA. And that's another thing about that I've been thinking about, and totally irrelevant, but when we have children, like you're passing on that DNA to your children. So it'd be best to heal all your emotional trauma, heal every part of yourself as much as you can before you have a child, because you're passing all of that on to your child. It sticks in their DNA. But if you change your DNA, heal your DNA before you have a kid, then they're gonna adopt those that good DNA that you built so strong, and then they can even take it even farther. So that's an interesting thing to think about. It's just a theory that I had, and yeah, tell me what you think leave a comment. Always leave some feedback. I always love feedback. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I got like 5 minutes left here, but I think that's plenty of time. Yep. So, Arcturians are the guardians of the galaxy, of the Milky Way galaxy, and we have been for a very long time. Super old souls, one of the oldest races. I've already said this, I'm sure. But we're also wizards and stargazers. If you love to stare at the stars, then you're definitely an old soul, most likely an Arcturian. The reason I talk more about old souls is because I know more about old souls because I am one. I'm speaking straight from the heart, what I feel, what I know about myself, and what I've seen and what I've read, and I put all this stuff together. And I don't just read like one thing and then I don't just talk about this one thing from this one source. No, I take my time and I take in information from many different sources because I'm very skeptical. I don't trust just one source. I want to hear everybody's opinion. And you'll find out a lot of this information is similar, and it's because not just because people have been communicating, but mainly because we're all connected consciously as a collective, as well as but because people are tapping into the Akashic records through meditation, just going into your heart, all the information that is in your heart isn't in everybody's heart, like, because our soul is a spark of God, like I said. So in that way we are all connected, and even right now every fiber, every atom, molecule in your body is sensing the energy around you. It's literally being affected by the energy around you, and it's affecting the energy around you. You also get to choose what you want to take in, what you want to put out. So you're totally in control of your reality and your energy, but you have to focus your intention on what you want to do with it, and just getting in tune, feeling that energy. Stop thinking about it so much because you have to really feel. And that's where meditation comes in handy, because really meditating is shutting off your brain. But you can't just do it like that. You have to let your thoughts just melt away slowly. And it could take hours, could take so many days of just practice. Some people take years or their whole lives before they reach enlightenment. But it seems like now, since we've had all this help from guides and spirits and aliens, like, everything's starting to speed up. All these monuments around the world that were set up on the grid to activate around 1970s, that when that activated, that Christ consciousness started activating in everybody, and we started to become more like Christ and think uh, more peacefully, just more in a forgiving way, and treat everybody like your neighbor. And that's the philosophy. Just be loving. I'm a starseed. He's a starseed. She's a starseed. We're all starseeds. Hey, yeah. I'm a starseed. We're a starseed, and this is the last minute, so gotta wrap it up. I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know if you want me to make more videos about starseeds or anything. Let me know if you want anything you want me to talk about. Just let me know in the comments. You can always send me a direct message on Instagram at KingRich42.0, the new and improved version. We lighten it up, bringing that fire every day, baby. My next mission is to find some books from Edgar Cayce. Hopefully the ones he talks about Arcturians, because that's going to be fun to hear how he actually communicated with them. That's straight from the source, man. You got to trust that. He's People don't believe in psychics. Become one. Then you'll know. Become your own psychic. You can do it. You can do anything. Cheers.